guys introduce yourselves again? Sorry.
Yes. Hello, we are the Glowing Lanterns, and today we're going to be playing I See the Light from Tangled.
job. I love that piece. What are your names?
Isabel.
Isabel.
Lily.
What is it?
Lily.
Lily. And
Kelsey.
Kelsey. My name is Miss Fish, and since we have time, we'll just work with you a little bit. You guys go till 8:05? Yes. Okay, she's going to help me stay on time. And we each had a sheet for each person? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Okay, I think you guys stuck together so well. And I think it's really cool that you're the only viola, and you, like, led the violas. I mean, it sounded really good. You didn't falter at all, and it stayed together really well. Did you guys have any trouble with that when you were rehearsing or working on it?
We had problems with like having her like just like being quieter because we couldn't hear.
Yeah, and the viola projects a little bit more. I thought it was really well balanced, honestly. Like it was perfectly, I could hear the violas and then I could hear you guys. It sounded balanced. You were really listening to each other. If you're gonna work on this some more, a couple things I would suggest is maybe a little bit more communication between you all. So start it one more time. And even though the viola comes in a half a beat after the violins, one of you should still be giving a cue that we're going to start like that. So who wants to be that person, or who has been that person? You? Okay, let me see you guys just start it. Now look at each other's faces. Good. So one thing you want to do is make sure everybody's bows are already on the strings and touching before they start. Okay, now look at each other. Good, perfect. Another thing I really, really liked was at E. I could hear that you were trying to do a big crescendo there. So we're going to work on that in just a second. But there's another spot where you can lead and you guys can communicate with each other, and it's even more important because you all come in on the same beat. And that's at 34. So can you start at 31? When you get to that long note that's tied, can you look at each other? She's going to kind of cut you off and then breathe you back in. Does that make sense? Because you want to lift your bows off at exactly the same time. So have you ever done like a cutoff? Yeah. So you make a little circle and kind of lift your bow where the circle meets again. And these guys will be watching you, because once that note starts, it's not going to change, right? It's going to stay the same note. So you can take your eyes off the page, make eye contact with each other. That also helps with the performance too, like some stage presence when you're communicating with each other. Your audience likes that. So start at 31 and then keep your eyes on her until you start at 34, okay? Let's see how that looks. Okay, try it one more time. And when you get to that C, just look right over at her, okay? Ready, and... Yeah, let me do it. What's the first note?
E.
Ready. And then do it one more time, and this time I'll leave you alone and try to get them started back up again.
Okay.
Good. And when you start, you can give a little breath with your nod. Try that with me and see if you can get right after that fermata. Yeah, and I saw you do it with me too, and so that's perfect. Try it one more time, back at 30, whatever, 1, and then we'll move on to something else. The other thing too that I think could really take this piece to the next level is, have you guys worked on vibrato at all?
Not really.
This would be a perfect piece for that. Can I give you like a miniature vibrato lesson really quick, and then you can kind of take it with you and do whatever you want with it? Mm-hmm. Have you tried it at all yet? In middle school or with Miss Smiley? Let me see what you got, just without playing, just with a third finger maybe. Okay, no, wait, a little rough with the nails, which by the way are gorgeous. Oh my gosh, those look so good. Okay, good. So the trick is, let me see, wiggle just a little. Nice. try to stay right on the tip. Good, and then touch with your thumb. But here's the tricky thing about the upper strings when we learn vibrato. When we learn to play our instruments, they teach us block fingering. And so our first finger has been taught to go up against the fingerboard like this, and then our fingers go down. When you start doing vibrato, you start to do more independent fingering. So you know how you were taught to put all 3 fingers down so that as you lift them off, the other ones are ready to go. And we'll do that sometimes still, but now you're gonna pull this away from the fingerboard. So do you see how I have some space between the fingerboard and my first finger? And you get right on the tip of your finger and just do one finger, and it's an up and down motion. There, now you're getting it. Yeah, you're getting it. Okay, yep, so much better. And if it sounds like this at first when you're practicing at home, that's not a beautiful sound, but that means you're doing it right. Here's mistakes kids make. Sometimes they try to go back and forth instead of up and down. So start with like, pretend like you're polishing your strings, and then just make it smaller. They also will collapse their wrist like this. And there's 2 different kinds of vibrato you can do on an upper string instrument. You can do arm vibrato like mine, where I come from the bicep and my whole arm moves like this. Or you can just do wrist like this, where just the main motion comes from these muscles right here. Both are right. I think there's pieces that's appropriate for one and pieces that's appropriate for other ones. But anyway, let me see you do it one more time. Do you want to try bowing it? That looks pretty good. You might want to push your finger down a little bit more. Okay, and then try it. You had it up and down. There you go. I'll do the bone, you do the finger.
Keep that thumb. There you go. Yeah.
You're getting it, okay? Let me hear yours. It's getting there. All right. How about yours? Okay. Do you have anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, I was just gonna throw in that you guys, like Ms. Fish said, your ensemble skills were the best. That was like the highlight of the performance for me. It was really obvious that you guys knew each other's parts, and so like if one person wanted to like slow down or speed up or adjust the rhythm to like sound more like the actual song, like you guys knew what the parts were like and knew exactly how your part fit in, so that it wasn't, you know, like it was really stable and it wasn't going to fall apart, which is really nice, and that's a really comforting thing when you're performing. I think the biggest thing for me would be to just start using more bow, and that's going to really help you be more expressive and start using these doing the dynamics a little more. Can you guys play like the measure before D? Because you have a little crescendo in there. So start with a little bit of bow, but by the end of that measure, like use half your bow for each one of those notes. Okay. You want me to count you off?
Yeah.
Okay. So like 1 and 2 and ready, go. Yeah, I like how much bow you were using by the end of it. Let's try that again. 1 and 2 and ready and. Yeah, go a little bit slower and then try to do a difference, because I like how much bow you're using, and that's good for like a medium range, but a little bit less bow for like the first 2 notes, and then for the last 2 notes, like as much bow as you can. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Yeah. That's the idea. And then for like, it's kind of tricky because like when you have long notes, they have short notes. So I was trying to find a place. But anyway, just like in general, like if you have whole notes or half notes, like really try to use as much bow as you can. And that'll help you like project and just get like a more expressive sound. Cool. Okay, I think it's time.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We are the Three Amigos, and we're going to be playing Toreador by George Bizet.
bullfighter and you're the bull?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, my name is Miss Sarasaki. And since we have a little bit of time left, we got like 10 minutes, we're gonna work with you a little bit. Yeah, nice job overall. You guys are really well prepared. I like that you're listening to each other. You clearly know your parts really well. So all of that was great. Notes and rhythms were really, really nice. I would say if you were to continue working on this piece, the next thing I would do is focus on like knowing who has the melody and bringing that out. Does that make sense? Okay, so can we just like go from the beginning?
Yep.
And then, okay, who has the melody at the very, very beginning? Yeah, so for that, and it's forte, so use as much bow as you can and really dig in, and then you guys back off. So if you can't really hear him, play a little bit softer. And then, but what, hold on, before we go on, like what measure for you two is like more important between measures 1 and 9? Like what two measures are more interesting?
4 and 8.
Yeah, so when you guys get to those measures, like bring it out just a little bit more, because he just has half notes
Okay.
there.
Yep.
And then you've got like little accents in here, so you don't necessarily have the melody, but try to make those notes just a little punchier. Okay, let's try it from the beginning. Yeah, cool. I liked in measure 8 especially, you were a lot louder there, so try to match his volume, and then I think you can be even louder. So I think what a little thing that's happening is like your bow is almost gonna hit your lap, so can you, I don't know, adjust your sitting?
Bring my arm up.
There you go. And then I'm gonna straighten out your bow a little bit. There we go. And let's see if that'll help. Okay, let's do that again from the beginning. Yeah, cool. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you can start like a little bit lower in the bow, and that'll help you out there. Good, yeah, so just kind of like, cello especially, you don't have like a ton of melody, but starting to think a little bit more about the articulation markings, especially the accents in here. I really liked to like how punchy you were making those, which was really, really great. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's start at 9, because where do you guys have more important stuff?
Like 13, 14.
Yeah, and then you have accents at the beginning of those measures, right? Which is really, really helpful. And then you have more kind of accented and like a little more rhythmic stuff. So you can bring that out anytime you have eighth notes, pretty much. Cool. All right, can we start at 9? Let's have you start lowering the bow, and let's try that. There you go. And then try to use more bow. I think I missed you. Yeah, just use more bow, but I think you were great. Cool. And then I liked the eighth notes that you guys were bringing out. Let's try that again at 9. Yeah, that's great. Wait, let's see. Let's do second violin, viola, cello at 13 and 14, and see if you guys can match the accent at the beginning of that measure. Here we go, ready, and. I like the accent, but don't back away too much, because the rest of the measure is still important.
Yep.
Like, yeah, let's do that again. Ready, and. Yeah, can you two try to be as loud as him?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ready, and. Yes, I think you made it easier. You play a little. Cool. Okay, let's put that all together. Let's go from the beginning to 17. Yeah, that's it. You're starting to use a lot more bow, which is really, really nice. Yay! All right, I'm gonna hand it off to you.
You guys sound fantastic. This is a really cool piece for you guys to work on together. It kind of suits you. I put one of the best things I heard you do was your articulation. Do you know what I mean by that? Like the length of your notes, your style.
Yep.
You're doing them nice and short, like you're supposed to, and you're matching each other. So the style is consistent amongst all of you. Let's go to, I think 31. Let me see. Yeah. So there's a huge, you go from forte to piano, so literally from loud to soft. There's no like in-betweens there. So what I'd love to see you try to do is let's start at 29, and we're a forte there. So dun, 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 dun. And I want you to almost feel like you hit a wall, your sound just drops off. And I want you to start so soft at 31, and then each note gets a little bit louder, so they start to kind of stack on each other. So I think around 32, you're kind of in the forte range, and then maybe even louder than forte at 33. Okay, so start that at 29. We might do it a couple times just to see. Try it one more time. I'll catch you off.
Yeah, all right.
One and a two and a ready and.
Huh? 29, right?
Yeah, no, it's
Abe,
not.
you're with me.
Yeah, I know.
It's a weird place to start. It's okay. Ready and. Nice crescendo. Nice crescendo. Can we get it to when we drop down to being soft? Actually, can you guys hold that note? So we're gonna go. And try to match each other's tone. Try to fit inside each other's sound there, so that we're all kind of on the same level of piano.
Okay.
All right, ready and. I like that it's matching. Good. Do it now. This time, try to go on. Two, ready and. Oh, I like that. Do it one more time. You were really getting it though. Kind of encourage each other with that crescendo there. Ready and louder. Nice. That was really cool. Did you guys hear the difference there? And it makes it really interesting. And when you see those pianos, you almost have to drop down to a point where you think we can barely hear you.
Okay.
Because it has to be a pretty stark difference from the forte to the piano, especially if people are sitting out in the audience, or as it's being live streamed, like especially in a recording or on a video, you have to really, really over exaggerate all of your dynamics. So don't be afraid to go completely wild with them. And your piano should be so soft, you're kind of like, why am I even playing? No one's hearing this. But it's for just a moment in time, and then you crescendo again. Well, I really enjoyed listening to you guys. Thought that was fantastic. So, yeah, good job. Thank you. How are you guys?
Good. How are you guys? Good. Feel free to move the chairs or stand however you want.
Yeah, you can rearrange whatever you're comfortable with.
We're the Contra Dancers, and we're playing Contra Dance by Larry Clark.
My name is Miss Fish, so I'm going to work with you for a little bit, and then Mrs. Arasaka is going to work with you as well. We have 8:36. Okay. Fantastic job. I love that piece. I could tell you guys liked it too. Like, maybe you're tired of it because you had to practice it so much, but I think that you sound like you really enjoyed it. And it's a high energy piece, and you had a lot of energy. Also, you look fantastic. I really enjoy that you guys were matching. Like, little things like that really kind of add to the performance, I feel like, when you're watching somebody. So it's not a big deal, but I really appreciated that. I thought you guys looked great. Okay, let's talk about a few things in the piece. I think overall it was just fantastic. You stayed together perfectly the whole time. Like, nobody got off. I wasn't afraid that you guys were gonna, fall apart, or that somebody was gonna have to get lost and get found again. It was really, really precise with that. I liked your balance too. I could always hear the melody, whether it was in the cello or in the violin, always. So you're really listening to each other, and that's a really, really good skill. I would maybe work on a few dynamics with you guys. And you did some great ones. Like, when it says forte, you guys really dug in and got into it, like down at 65. I think that sometimes maybe we can get our pianos a little softer. So let's find a good spot. I think it was 60-something.
69.
Yeah, let's go at 57. And so 57, you're just kind of in the middle there. And then I want to hear a huge crescendo into 65, but then when you hit 69, let's get really, really soft. And you're not soft for long, are you?
No.
Like a measure and maybe a half, and then it crescendos right back up again. When it says piano, I want you guys to try to really listen to each other, but I want you to each try to be a little bit softer than the other. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go at 57. Woo, that was really cool. Did you hear the difference? Yeah. Do it one more time. And I think at 65, you could be a lot louder. Get down into the lower part of your bow. Use a lot of arm rate. Like about that loud, okay? So go back to 57. Do the same thing though when you get to that piano. That sounded so good. You were really listening to each other. 1, 2, ready, and... So when you guys got to 65, you actually got a wee bit quieter. Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. And you're supposed to get a wee bit louder. So start right at the measure before, 64. Bum, ba, 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 ba. And then when you hit that top, stay that loud, okay? 2, ready, and... So cool. Good job. When you get to that fortissimo part at 72, see if you can use almost twice as much bow as you were just using. I love that piano. Start at the piano, and then when you get to 72, try to use a little bit more bow. 1, 2, ready, Yay, good job. Nice, and that's something you guys can apply to the whole piece, because there's some other pianos in there as well. I'm going to let Mrs. Arasaki talk to you.
Okay. Cool.
Sorry, I keep getting off on time.
Okay. Yeah, you guys played this piece so well. My favorite thing were like Miss Fish was saying, like the forte dynamics. I even wrote. Okay, so measure 65, best fortissimo ever. And then you guys also did a really good job at your balance and bringing out the melody. So what did I write? Measure 25, second violin and viola. Really nice job. You guys brought that melody out really, really well. And then in general, all of you guys are doing a really good job at that. So that was really nice. I think the only thing in my notes I made a little comment, just be careful with like low twos, like C naturals, G naturals. It's not that you're not doing them, it's just that they need to be like even lower. Does that make sense? And that was not like throughout the song, it was just like little bits and pieces. So just be careful of intonation there. Then the other thing I just want to talk to you about, and this is just gonna kind of help elevate your playing a little bit. I had a teacher one time tell me, like, this is kind of weird. So like if you imagine like pushing a book like across the table. So like what causes the book to stop? Because it's not just gonna keep going forever and ever. Friction? Yes, yeah. So it's the friction between the book and the table. So it's the same thing when you make a sound on your instrument. Sometimes, so if it's just like you're playing open D string, if you can hear when someone lets the friction of the bow and the string stop the sound versus when you when you force it. So you hear the difference there. So the whole piece, you have all these like running eighth notes going, especially you guys in them. So if you can stop, like let the bow release on its own, then the string will continue to ring on its own. Does that make sense? So like at the beginning, can second violin, viola, and cello, can you guys play and try to match the amount of bow you use and the release on that note? Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Oh, okay, yeah. So some of you are like off the string and some of you are not. So let's put our bows closer to the bridge. And then this time, don't go off the string. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Yes. Okay, now for you, dig in a little more at the beginning of each note. And let's try that. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Yes. So do you guys hear like you're getting a little more of the core of the sound that way? So even if you go off the string, you still want that core sound. Let's go from the beginning with everyone. And the same kind of applies to you, but now you just need to use more bow because you have the melody here. Okay, let's go from the beginning. 1 and 2 and ready, go. Yeah, good. We just went a little fast. Let's do that again. I'll put it with you. 1, 2, ready, and. Watch that your bow stays closer to the bridge and doesn't sink to the fingerboard. Yeah, so if you guys can focus on that core sound, I think that will elevate your playing in general. Thanks. Okay. Wait, we have 3 more minutes. Cool. Okay. Speaking of core sounds, can you play me the last 2 measures? Because now it's the same idea, but now it's fortissimo and really accented. So at the beginning of that note, really like, oh, actually, this is my favorite thing. Can you guys put your bow on the string, close to the bridge, and close to the frog? There you go. Okay, now you're gonna wiggle the string back and forth without making a sound. Cool. Okay, that's how much weight you should use for the beginning of those notes. So. This is a 5-string. I know. Like, all right, here we go. Last 2 measures. Dig in. 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah. Okay. Now use more bow and remember to let the bow release, and just let friction like stop it on its own. 1, 2, ready, and. Yes. You just gotta play that second note. Right. Cool. Okay, let's do it again. You guys use more bow. 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah. Do you guys hear that? Like how much more echoey it becomes when you do that? Cool. Yay. All right, that's all I have for you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
You enjoyed that.
I like that piece.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Right before you started, I was like, I think I've done this with a group before. You guys can go ahead and put those chairs wherever you want. Yeah, move the stands however you want them.
playing Swan Lake. We're playing Swan Lake by Tchaikovsky, and our group's called Bittersweet.
Good job. We really enjoyed that. Oh, I'm speaking for her, but I know she enjoyed it.
I did. Cool. I'm Mrs. Arasake, and then we're both gonna work with you a little bit today for the rest of the time. So okay. Cool. Okay, the best part of this, I think, of your performance is you guys just play so musically. Like, it was very obvious that, like, you looked at the dynamics, and you knew, like, who had the melody. And then when you guys were, like, really locked in rhythmically, it was really, really solid, which was really, really nice. You also know each other's parts really well, so you were able to, like, adjust and stuff, which is the whole point of chamber music, which is really, really great. So yay. I think, well, what is the hardest part of this piece for you guys?
Yeah, before the PMO,
And I think probably 19 as well, a little bit, like being in tune, like at the very first note.
Yeah.
Where, oh, I see that. Oh, okay, yeah, and then where's the Pimosa?
It's at 548.
Oh, oh, yeah. What's hard about that? Because you guys did that really, really well.
I think kind of like starting together and ending together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the tempo changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was probably one of, like, my favorite spots that you guys did. So even though it was the hardest, like, clearly you put a lot of time and effort into that, because that, like, the ending for me was really, really nice. When I play this piece, I think and this is in general for, like, pieces that are like this, that are, like, slow and lyrical, finding a sense of pulse is always like the hardest thing for me, because there's so much time between the beats, right? So like subdividing is really, really important. But then also, you know, your melody line, you're playing it so long and lyrical, sometimes it's like hard to find like where, you know, like where the main beat is. And I think that was kind of the case at the beginning of this piece a little bit. It was like, you guys played really well together, but it was kind of hard to tell like where the beat really, really was, like precisely. So can you start at the beginning? And this is not how you are gonna perform it, but those of you that are doing the tremolo, so you two in the middle, anytime you change notes, can you almost like accent it and almost put like a space between the notes just so we can hear like the distinction between the note changes? Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that was a little bit easier for me to like really feel. And then just in general tremolos, you did it by the end, but I would do all the tremolos closer to the tip. But maybe the first one, you're right, because it does start sforzando and then decrescendo. So you can start it lower, but then by the end, by measure 2, get to the tip of the bow. Cool. Okay, so what you can do now for your melody to kind of create more sense of pulse, I would go just a little slower. It's like, da, 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 da. Can we try that and see if that tempo feels more comfortable? All right, 1, 2. Oh wait, can you all play? All right, 1, 2, 1, and. How did that feel?
That felt
Better? Yeah, and I think at the slower speed, then you're able to use more bow and stuff. Cool. Okay, let's do the same thing without me clapping. So you guys are essentially like me clapping. You're like the metronome now. Yeah, and then so now you guys are not making like as clear of a distinction, like space between the notes and stuff, but you're like just the little like nudges are really, really helping with that. And so I would perform, like that would be good like performance practice, whereas before like it was too much, you know? But I think that's kind of where it all works and meets. Cool. Does that feel a lot better?
Yeah.
That way? Yeah. So I would think more about that at the beginning, but yeah, like the ending was my fave. Oh, and those triplets are just weird. But you guys did a really good job at sticking together through them, because yeah, some of you are doing like the doubles and some of you are doing the singles, right? So the listening between all of you in that section was really great. Cool. All right, I gotta hand it off.
Yeah, great job. I really enjoyed that. I love that piece. You guys did a good job.
Thank you.
I love the ending too. You guys put a lot of emotion into that. And I was very impressed with when you have all those triplets, but there's like quarter note triplets, the 8th note triplets, and how you stay together through that. Really nice job. Okay, I'm gonna make a couple suggestions. Let's start at the beginning. Whenever you have the melody, and this is like would you say this is a staccato piece, a legato piece? How would you guys describe it? Legato for sure. So when we're slurring and we're changing strings, let's make sure we really smooth it out. people often like to kind of stop their bow as they go from one string, not just you guys, musicians in general. They like to, because you're changing strings, so you want to make sure that your bow gets there first, but really try to keep the bow moving. That's like if you're on the highway, you do not want to stop your car right in the middle, right? You're probably going to get hit. So just keep it moving no matter what, and if that means you need to use more bow, then that's fine to do too. Let's start at the beginning and see if we can smooth out your part, but everybody kind of has a little bit of this throughout, so let's start right at the beginning. 1, 2, and it's piano, right? 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, nice dynamic, and that was so much better. Did you hear a difference? I heard a difference for sure. Let's go 27 so that you have a chance to do it. And you've got some crescendo there. So let's do the dynamics, which I'm going to work on next if we have time. But really make it slurpy, like it's just all stuck together, really legato. Your bow doesn't leave contact with that string, even if you're going to change from one string to the next. Try to keep that bow contact there. Okay, let's do pickups to 27. 1, 2, 3. Nice, that was very legato. Really good job on that. And then let's do the ends so that these guys have a chance to do a little bit of that same type of bowing. 1, 2, 3. How about 4 from the end? 2, ready, and. Oh, I love it. Look at you guys all looking at each other and making sure that you release that last note perfectly in time with each other. That's perfect. I think that's why we love that ending so much too. You were not looking at your music, you were looking at each other, and it was fantastic. Can we try adding in a little bit more dynamics? And I only have about a minute. Can we look at, I should grab my computer, but let's do 10. And when you don't have a long amount of time for the crescendos and the A crescendos, right? They're only about 4 beats long, so it's like quiet, loud, quiet, loud. It goes back and forth. When you get to the peak of a crescendo, can you try to play louder than each other? And when you get to the piano, can you try to play softer than each other? Let's try it at 10 once and see if that works. Just really over-exaggerate those dynamics. 1, 2, ready, and stop. We're going to start so soft. 1, 2, 10, and 2, crescendo, Now it's always moving, so we're not going to start really soft and stay really soft, right? It starts really soft, and it grows, and then it goes back down. I'm going to play with you once and see if we can get the idea here. Let's go at 10. Ready, and 1, 2. That's actually a lot better. Okay, one more time, and I'm going to play with the melody. Try to follow our dynamics, okay? And B, so the melody's here. You guys need to be just right underneath the melody, right? So if her forte is here, your forte has to be just below it. Okay, here we go at 10, 2, 3. Sorry, we'll just start right on 10. Ready? And good. Yeah, did you guys feel that kind of ebb and flow? Well, nice job. You guys were fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. And also, you look great. That makes the performance even better. As an audience member, you know, you're just kind of like, oh, wow, they look good. They look sharp. And so you kind of, in your head, think, oh, that's going to sound great. And it did. All right, thank you. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. Feel free to move the chairs and stands however you want, however you normally practice, what makes you comfortable.
Okay, we are Heavy Hearts, and we're going to be playing Howl's Moving Castle by Joe Hisaishi. We were supposed to have a piano, but she couldn't attend today, so it's just us three.
Sorry that neither one of us knows how to play well enough to help you out. favor, and I'm going to talk to you for just a little bit, and then Mrs. Arasaki is going to help you too. And I just want to make sure. So we have 15. Okay. Okay. Like over. Okay. Good performance, you guys. I really enjoyed it. You like this piece? I think it's really pretty. Good job. And this is totally fine how you're standing and sitting, but in the future, there's sort of like a unwritten rule that if one person has to sit, then the other ones sit. However, a lot of people have a philosophy that the upper string should stand in a performance. So it's totally fine what you're doing, but just for future reference, it's also okay to sit, so that you guys know that. Since you all, hi. Okay, really, really good job. First, I just want to point out a couple tiny things, if that's okay. We have E flats in the key signature, but then we also have E naturals for accidentals. So just kind of make sure that you know which one is which and where. Most of them you got perfectly right. So I loved a couple things. When you guys got to here, so I pointed at 57, and I was like, oh, who's going to lead? How are they going to do that? And you guys all looked up, and you made eye contact with each other, and it was perfectly together. I love that. I could always hear the melody, so that was fantastic. And even in a spot where you the rhythm got a little off, you came together at one of the points. Do you remember where that was? Yeah, it was like all of a sudden you knew where each other was, and it sounded perfect. Like you had communicated that, and you knew a way where you were going to find each other in case you got off from each other. I think one thing that'll make you stay together a little bit better in the section from 37 to, well, wherever, like say here, is we are rushing the 8th note rests just a wee bit, and that's a totally normal thing for students to do when they're playing. So you have to really kind of be subdividing in your head. How are you guys counting this? Or do you have a way, are you just kind of feeling it?
We're just hearing each other, like, we're just
Yeah, listening, yeah, and I can tell you're listening to each other. You do a great job of that. So we're in 6/8 time. Are you counting sometimes in your head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Which kind of works out because it's a slower piece. But you can also be thinking 1 and 2 and. So when we're in something that has a 4 on the bottom, we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But since there's an 8 on the bottom, there's 3 8th notes per beat. So it's 1 and 2 and. So sometimes when we have an 8th note on beat 1, and this is totally normal for all musicians, you just want to rush through it. And the reason is because we're so used to beat 1 being a heavy beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that all the time. It's like in our DNA. So when we have an 8 or any kind of a rest on beat 1, it's difficult for us, and it's something we have to concentrate on. And it's also something that sounds really cool because it's different than what we're used to. So let's start at 37, and I'm going to kind of direct/count for you guys. Right, and I want you to really kind of, if I say accent or rest, do you kind of know what I mean by that? You can't really because it's no sound, it's silence, but really feel it in your gut. Ready? And. And 2 and 1. Did you hear it? How you kind of almost wanted to come in before 2? It's 1 and 2 and. I'm going to play with you one time, but now you guys kind of see what I'm talking about. Ready? And. 2 and 1. Good. And the cool thing is that the cello has something on beat 1. So if you just listen to the cello go, bum, ba da 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 da, cello, da 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 da, cello, da 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 da. Am I out of time?
No, I was gonna, well, because I wanted to work on the section too, so can we
Oh, cool,
just kind of
yeah,
keep tag team kind of working on it? Where's 36 for you? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, so right here, just watch, because they have 2 notes and then you come in. Yeah, so just be careful of that and don't come in too early. Can we start in the same place?
Yeah, let's start at 37. Is it okay if I play with you?
Okay, ready, and.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Were you guys hearing the cello on like beat 1 every single time? Good job.
So then, anytime you have the dotted quarter note, just wait a little bit longer because they have so many notes in there. So just make it a little bit longer. Yeah. Can we do the same thing again? And it's like hard to look at the score in your parts of the time, just to really make sure it's like locked in.
Yeah. 37, you guys ready? That was a lot better. We could feel the beat better too. Could you feel the beat?
And the same thing, like don't rush it, just give them the time that they need. And it might be that you slow down just a little bit because they have so many notes in there. Yeah.
Perfect. And I just wanted to compliment you at like 66. And I can see now that I'm over here looking at your music, you had some really cool dynamics. And it's not written into the part. You guys communicated with each other and decided musically that that's what you wanted to do there. And I noticed it from over there. So really good job. I enjoyed it. Okay, I'll let Miss Arasaki work with you.
No, I love that. Yeah, I was gonna say the same things, like just especially at the beginning, and then when you kind of come in, just watch that key signature, making sure the flats are there. Anytime I wrote like you guys, you have mostly like dotted dotted quarter notes and eighth notes. Like those moments were so solid. Like they were so together. It's when those 16th note passages come in that it gets a little, like a little funky, not as together, but because you guys know each other's parts really well, you're able to get back together at, like the next phrase or the next section, which is really, really nice. Let's do a little more work kind of at the end. So can we do like 7? Oh, you guys have boxes at different places.
We have voices at different places.
So that's not as helpful. Is 70 an okay place to start?
Do you have something?
Is that awkward?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah, okay, let's start there. And same thing as before, just give them more time. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Yeah. Okay, actually just do those 3 measures. So they go bum, bum, change, da 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 da, bum, bum, change, da 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 da, dun, dun, dun. Yeah, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Yeah, that was way more together. On the second notes of each measure, you were just like a millisecond late that time. So that's improvement. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, ready, set, go. Yeah, that was much better. Does that make sense? Yeah. Cool. So just kind of like responding to their melody a little bit. Yeah. The other thing I really liked about your performance is that your melody stood out every time. So like if you had the melody, you really brought it out. If you guys had the melody, you brought it out. When you guys had the melody, you played it really well together too, which was really nice. I love how much bow you're using and the tone you're getting. So all of that was really great. Cool. I also like your little house. That's very on brand.